Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. Here we are looking at total 3 crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we're looking at it on the 24-hour time frame. The reason I do that is because, watch this. See, the candles look all nice and clean now. But if you go to a daily time frame, you get all these wicks, all these crazy ass wicks that aren't really there um, when you're watching price action play out throughout the day. I don't know where they come from, but and maybe it's it really is the total trading throughout the day, but doesn't really appear till late. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Watch when I switch back to 24-hour, it's much cleaner. Except for this big wick here, that changed. Huh. But everything else is much cleaner. Well, that's interesting. So that goes all the way down to 348. And when we switch it to a daily, it only goes to 395. So that is something that's weird. But if you look at where we're at currently. Look at all those crazy ass wicks. And now watch when I put it on the 24-hour. See? That's more realistic to me. Except for maybe some of the... Let's look at these two right here and see how those change when I switch it. Where are they at right now? Right now, they're at 65 and 71. A little bit longer. So that's what I would have expected. I don't know what was up with that one in the very beginning. Anyway, it was a long time ago, and we're not dealing with it right now. So 24 hours it is. So here we are. Now, first of all, okay, so chart's pretty clean here. We have the light blue, 21-week moving average, and in red, the 200-week moving average, right? Yeah. Yep, that's what they are. And, well, while I'm here, let's turn on the daily Gaussian channel, or the Gaussian channel, and we're on the 24-hour time frame. Again, let's switch to see how it changes. It makes it a little bit fatter, and I don't think that's realistic. Does it change much else with it? Whoops, what am I doing? I don't really see anything else that changes. So that's what we're sticking with, the 24-hour. Let's get these words out of the way. Probably make that a little bit skinnier. Perfect. So here we are with the daily Gaussian channel. It's similar to Bitcoin. We had curved down and we're in the red and recently turned green in the past week or so. And so that's good. Everything's all fine and dandy. Fell into it here. Traded in the bottom portion of it, moved up to the top portion, got rejected, and back down to the bottom, which is very, very significant. See, we're right. Sorry, and I haven't made a video in a couple days. I haven't been really because nothing's really changed. And we're just been consolidating. It's the same crap over and over and over again. And we're right now right on the edge, right here, with Bitcoin and crypto market cap. We're on the precipice, ready to fall or bounce. And nobody knows what we're going to do. And no matter what indicators you look at, you still don't know what we're going to do. And even if they say one thing or tending towards one thing, there's others that are tending towards something else, and you can look at things many different ways. And we just don't know till it happens, I guess. But big moves are coming now. So good thing is we're bouncing off the bottom of the daily Gaussian channel. Now, see, this is kind of good and bad. Here's the 21-week moving average, and we're below that, which is it's okay, I guess. And on a weekly time frame, this would just be a wick, depending on where we close, right? So if we do look at a weekly, currently, I believe we would be above, closing a candle body above it, and that would just be a wick below it. Yep, right on the edge there. So that's what's going on. Out of curiosity, let's look at the weekly Gaussian channel. Okay. We did come down here. That's interesting. So, worst case scenario, I wonder if we could come down and retest that weekly. Maybe somewhere out. Yep, you know what? Maybe like right there at that height there, and maybe over here, mid to end of July. That's a possibility. Certainly is a possibility. We'd be like on support here, or resistance turned support, and maybe, yeah. So that's something to think about right there. Now, but this isn't what I really wanted to talk about. Let's go back to the 24-hour chart. Okay, so we know we're bouncing off the daily Gaussian channel and the top of it. So if we do get a nice bounce here, I imagine we'd shoot right up through past 664, which is the mean band, maybe hesitate there a little bit, and up to about 700 billion. 700 billion. And maybe hang out there for a minute, because that would be, it'd be a good place to hang out, because there's lots of things to touch here. Let's turn that off because it makes everything look funny. How do I turn it off? There it is. Now, also what we have here is this big green line. Now, I drew this big green line months ago, back in when we were right around here, end of March, beginning of April, when we had this consolidation here. I'm like, look what's going on. We got a big old cup and handle here. And I drew that green line, and I drew it on many of the altcoins. And essentially, that's what we're just doing here. It's really, really funny. I just drew this with my finger and went whoosh, whoosh. But yeah, seems to be playing out pretty well. And here we are. Now this isn't going to go off like that. It's going to go up more like this. Like that. It's going to make that sound. It's going to go like that. Um, and we will take a look at that a little bit more later. Let's see. So we got the 21-week moving average. What's that sound? Oh, there's guys doing work outside on the freeway. Let's go back and turn the weekly on again because I forgot where that was. Weekly Gaussian channel. Oh, see, yeah, that's interesting. So if we did come down here, maybe to there. Okay. Uh, I was just looking at the 200-week moving average. We'd still be well above it if we came here. It's not. I think that would probably come up more like this. The Gaussian channel would come up more rapidly than the 200-week moving average, probably. So here we're looking at that about 5:30, maybe. All right. Let me turn this other stuff off, and go back to the 24 hour, and rid of you. All right. So let's get going here. But so see what we're doing here. Look at this. You got these big old candles, all these big old candles around here. These three big candles in a row. And what do we got so far? We got this little tiny little green candle. So it's a start, but it's just like barely. It's barely doing anything. But it's doing something. Which is why we're just don't know. And it's Friday, and it's going to be a weekend. Are we going to see a big dump over the weekend? That's the question I have, because it's been my theory for a long time that, um, and I know we're talking about the total three now, but it's all crypto. Bitcoin has to behave a certain way for the spot ETFs while market is open. And if they were to do a dump, the little sneaky little bastards were to do a dump, the whales and whoever's manipulating and playing around with all their big money and big Bitcoin holdings. If they were to try to play some games, they could easily get away with it over the weekend when there's low liquidity in the market, or low. Is that the word I'm looking for? Anyway, when it's not a lot of action and it's easier to move the market and get back to where it needs to be for Monday morning. One would think. So, okay. Now we got some other things going on here. We got the white channel here. There we go. Now this white channel goes all the way back to here, to the beginning of this on the 24 hour. That's not the beginning of this market, but it's the beginning of this chart. Let's see on a daily what that looks like. Oh, it looks stupid on the daily, but it does hit that point right there, which is kind of weird, but that's not real. Those candle wicks aren't real. So anyway, it comes right up here. Center line starts there. And what we have here, we have this wick here, this wick here, and the top here. And then also you have things like this candle wick comes right down to it. And you got a lot of support and resistance right along the line here. Right along the line here. Right there too. And back here. So I think it's a pretty good, and right here too. You have a long candle, and this little short candle here. Um, so what I'd like to see is us get above into the upper half of this in order to be out of the woods. Okay, so that's that. We're below that. As long as we're below that, things are kind of sketchy still. So that's the white channel. Then we have this orange channel. You can draw a bunch of different channels here. This channel doesn't go back to anything, I don't believe. And but it's this flag here. And it hits the top here, hits the top here. And it hits this wick here. And we traded right along here with some candle bodies. We wicked through it, but like held that candle body there. And but more importantly, we held a lot of. It shows a lot of support and resistance along the center line, as best as we can make it with all this stuff here. It would, if I tried to pull this down further down here, the center line wouldn't really make any sense. Maybe right here it would. I don't know, but it's best like this. So here we are, and where are we at currently? We're just breaking above it, barely. We're really struggling to get above that. So if we can get above that, that's another good sign, and would indicate that we'd be heading up close to that number around 700 million. I said, but that would be like right there. Right there, and that would be a breakout from here, which would be good. So see, those are good things. All right, let's move on. There's another channel that's similar, but it's like that. And as you can see, it gets this candle wick and this candle wick here. And more importantly, the center line is hit many times here, all along there. It's a very popular center line, and even up there. And kind of roughly gets this right here. But you can see that here we broke above it and then held these candle bodies on top of it before falling back down. And when we fell back down in hard. So all these channels, although they're different, the chart interacts with many different channels. And we are again below that. And I'd like to see us get above that in order to be more certain that we're going to head upwards. Because right now we don't know. We're still in sketchy land. We don't know if we're going up, down, where we're going. So if we turn on all these at the same time, they're all kind of all right here together between 634 and 646, so 10 billion, roughly $10 billion apart right there. And also all three of these candles encompass, is that the right word? This whole range here. So if we have another green candle just like these close right up here, that'd be kind of good. Then I'd look for holding a candle body up above this white line. possibly wicking down to freak us out, maybe. But I want to see us hold this candle body up here over the weekend. So see if we can do that. And what is that? It's about 6:45. So that's what we'd be looking for. And we'd be above the 21-week moving average. All that would be good. And that would signal to me that there'd be more certainty for us heading upwards. Now, of course, this could all go. You know what? We've been consolidating so long, and we're on the edge of a breakout. So imagine if we do get a move, it could be pretty explosive either way. So that's that. And I do expect us. Who knows what's going to happen over the weekend? Maybe we just still go sideways over the weekend. But if we can hold out them over the weekend, I'd expect an explosion coming Monday, an explosion coming upwards. Um, I just don't think that BlackRock, for one hand, or anybody else is going to let this market dump. I mean, it would just destroy the Bitcoin ETF interest, and it would be devastating. So if we did dump, that's why we could dump significantly. And if we pump, we could pump significantly and liquidate all these effing shorts. Okay, so that's it for the total 3, I think. Oh, no, one more thing, Co. So if we turn on the daily, turn back on the daily, because I need to see more price action historically here. That's the only way to get it. So I mentioned the cup and handle earlier, but we are not at the top of the range. We're just at this consolidation right here. And that's where we're forming this handle pattern. So once we get up to here, the top of our previous all-time high, I expect that we'll have a similar pullback. Maybe not as long, for sure, but some sort of similar pullback. And that is that right? 75%. How can that be? Is that right? Well, I don't think that's what I measured earlier. You know what? Maybe. You know what I did? Maybe I measured up to here. I don't know what I did. Anyway, but I think these candle wicks are a little exaggerated. So maybe up to around a trillion. That makes sense that we would stop at a trillion. It's kind of like a psychological, resistance area that we might. So let's say about 57% move to the upside from where we're at. Imagine we'd get another pullback there. So 57% for the altcoin market. Maybe you're talking 40% for Bitcoin, 35-40% for Bitcoin, something like that. So keep that in mind. And let's move on to looking at Bitcoin now. All right, so now here we are looking at Bitcoin on US Bitcoin US dollar index on the daily time frame. And I've pretty much taken away all my lines. I'm really amazed I was able to do that. We have now these white dashed lines that I have here are alerts that I have set up. And Either I can't remove those or I don't know how to hide them. So they're just going to have to stay there. The only other white line here is this one, and this is the previous all-time high from last cycle. Let's make that like a different color. Well, that doesn't really. Well, we'll just leave it like that. You can tell it's slightly different than the other colors. Anyway, so the vertical lines I have here, the blue one is the halving. That was the halving right there, right then and there. And as usual, we fell down into the halving, and haven't really done much since. Um, and this green one is Monday. It's Monday, and this is where I have predicted for almost going on a year now, maybe that our parabolic bull run would start here. So we are on the precipice here, precipice of falling down or taking off. Like who was that? Icarus was it with the wax wings? Uh, that could be us. Now, these other yellow lines are the next CPI data releases, July 11th and August 14th. So that's what those vertical lines are, and those are alerts and our previous all-time high. And this is the 21-week moving average, which we always stay above in bull rallies. So if we fall down, currently that's at 60,000, just under 61,000, 60,876. So we have wicked through it slightly in the past, I think one time. But in bull rallies, we stay above it. I mean, in the early part of the rally, like right here, we have fallen through it. But in the parabolic portion of the rally, we stay above it here. And see here, we wicked through it a little bit, but arguably you could say that was the beginning of the rally too. It wasn't really the parabolic part yet. So, and then here that's, yeah. So, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. Could we wick through it a little bit, maybe? Yeah, but we kind of want to stay above that. So that's that. Now, we have the Daily Gaussian channel, which I will turn on. And we've really been struggling with this bad boy here. We fell into it, a lot of times when we fall into it, like back here, we fall into it, hit the bottom, we chop along the mean band for a little bit, hit the bottom, chop along the mean band, and up and out we go. Oh, we did that here, chopped along the mean band, hit the bottom, bounced around a little bit, chopped along the mean band. We should have gone up and out here. We didn't. We came back in and then tried to get out again. Couldn't do it. Came back in. So good thing is we're staying above the mean band here. There is a potential we fall down to the bottom, and that's where the 21-week moving average is. So that's very plausible and would still be above this low here. So that would all be fine and dandy, I imagine. The problem is if Bitcoin does that, it's going to pull down the altcoin market. It could be like a domino effect. Um, so something we don't want to do, something we could do. It's just bad. It's just bad. Anyway, our bull rally is supposed to start on Monday. So whatever's going to happen, we better do it Do it fast. So, yeah, that's why there's all these conflicting things. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to turn on these guys, which I've made to represent the Daily Gaussian channel. And that way I can turn that off. So that's where the Gaussian channel is. Now, one thing I want to note that I just discovered, I've had this blue channel group here. It goes way back in time to the FTX collapse. Even prior to the FTX collapse, where we bounced off the top of the channel right here in September of 2022, early September. And that was our first experience with this blue parallel channel. And we consolidated between. Now, there are several channels here. All the channels have this baseline in common. And most recently, I've split the lower channel. You know what? Let me do this. Oops, that's not what I want to do. I want to open it up, and we will. That's the big one. This is the one I just drew. Here's the original blue channel right there. And it has this base. It's here. The bottom of this is the original trend line that we many people discussed in their videos. This is the trend line we held here and here and here and fell through it in August, and everybody was freaking out because they thought we were going to just dump down here and go down. And over here, I said, hey, guys, we are about to start a mega rally that's going to be many months. And boom, that's what happened. And everybody thought we were going to dump further. So, are we in the same kind of predicament here? I think so. But a lot of people think we're going to pump, and a lot of people think we're going to dump. So that's the original blue channel. However, I wanted to do more. And so we added this one. And that one takes in the top here. This high, this high right here. And coincidentally, and I did this a long time ago, but what happened is this is our new all-time high right at the top of that channel. So that's why I do these things. And this channel had been here well before this ever came around. Like way back in time, like even last year. But now most recently, because I looked over here, at our current price action. And I said, hey, you know what? And I looked at all this right here. Said, you know what? It looks like this stuff is kind of midway in between our original blue channel. I don't want this thing. Midway between the center line of our original blue channel and the bottom here. So I added this channel, and sure enough, look at that. This center line acts as not so much here. It's kind of sloppy right there. Right there, clearly, it is support. Let's zoom in and see. How well it acts. You know, it's kind of messy there, but that's because this is the bottom of the dumpy dump. That's what I named that alert, dumpy dump. It's sloppy because we're also interacting with the bottom of the daily Gaussian channel. But this first red candle right here, we worked right down to that center line and then interacted with the Gaussian channel. But right here, look at that. Clearly, we are trying to hold this as support. We are barely hanging on. We're barely, I don't even know if you could say that candle body is above it. It's like right on the line, and maybe just a little bit below it even. It's right there. So, yeah, we're barely hanging on. Oh, and if we go up another 100 points, my alert's going to go off. So that was an alert to signal that we were going here down below the support line. These alerts are like kind of horizontal support lines. It's supposed to wake me up and say, hey, take a look at this. Something's going on here. So this is good right here. So we got that going on. Now, of course, you have the most important channel in Bitcoin history right here. And I also added a couple trend lines that are perfectly parallel to it because let's turn off the blue channel group for now. So this is the parallel channel from which all parabolic rallies start. Either let's just go back in time and look. And that's where look at how we dumped through there. So here back in 2020, we were consolidating on top of the line, like inchworming along the top of it. And then a parabolic rally started once we were able to bounce off of there and get going. And then here in 2017, it acted as resistance. We were being blocked by it for a long time, traveling upwards along it. And then we shot through it, and had a pullback right down to the top of the channel, and then started our parabolic rally from there. I mean, arguably, you could say we started it here, but it was after this channel had held as resistance to us. And even back here, way back here, same kind of deal. It acted as resistance here. I mean, we were really far away from it, but clearly, when we started moving upwards, we had we got stuck here in the channel for a couple weeks, maybe, until we were finally able to break out and continue our parabolic rally. So this channel, and actually this parabolic rally kind of got blocked by it here. I mean, we shot up through it a little bit, yeah. But this is, okay, mind you, this is on a daily time frame, so just 1, 2, 2, 3 candles came outside that channel, 3 days. And then this acted as resistance and support right there on the third day. And we rallied back up to the top of the channel here. So this channel has had played a significant role in the parabolic goings on of Bitcoin. Oh, come on, let's go back to the beginning here, or to the end, or the beginning. Is it the end or is it the beginning? And here we are within this channel. And so I imagine that if in fact we do start our parabolic run on Monday, we will blast up through this channel. And where would that take us? Up to 80,000. I imagine, because I think if we turn on the blue channel, we had attempted. I'm going to turn off this little one here. We were attempting right here before our dump. Um, on Friday. Okay, so we had a dump on Friday. When was this dump? This dump was on Tuesday. Friday was a green day here. Friday was a dumpy day there, but it was a green day on Thursday. So I don't know. I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. Thus far it's green. Look at that. We're at 67,144. So we are moving up. Moving up. I mean, we were in the low 66, so we've come up about 1,000 points maybe. So we were trying to hold this center line of this channel. Once we hold that center line, that's telling me that minimally we're going up to the top of this channel. I think we're going to continue to interact with this blue channel. So what I'm thinking maybe happens here pretty soon is that we do shoot up through here, maybe do a little something in here, and then continue on upwards and bust a move all the way up to 86, maybe up to 96, all the way to the top, then come down here. Who knows? That's far, far away from now. Let's just worry about this for now, though. But imagine we would be coming up here. If and when we do make a move, it's going to be explosive. So expect us to be shooting up really rather quickly. And I think we could easily get to 86 by the end of the month. And then maybe we pull back into the CPI data and come back here and test the top of this channel, something like that. And then we get excellent CPI data. And would that put us at about 100,000? Yep, certainly would. Maybe we come up to 100,000, do a little choppiness in here. And let's just see what kind of a move that would be from where we are at now. We're about to make my alert go off. If we go up another 75 points or so. So, see, that's like a 36% move. Remember when I was talking about maybe a 55%, 55, 60% move in the altcoins? This is a 36% move in Bitcoin. So, it all makes sense depending on where we go here. That's okay. So that's a 30% move there in Bitcoin. Could that equal a 50% move in the altcoins or more? Possibly. And then a pullback, making a little flag in the altcoins and a little adjustment here. Certainly falls all into line there. All right. So the other thing we got going on. So we know we're hanging out at the center line here. And If we stay where we're at or higher, we will be above that center line. And that leads me to believe that we'll come up here to the next. Maybe we do that today before the weekend's over. We come up to, that would be, that'd be close to 72,000. Yep. Maybe we do that today. And who knows what we do over the weekend. Could very well be. Um, so let's turn off those guys for a second. Now, these guys are the our inverse head and shoulders here. There are inverse head and shoulders channel. So the inverse head and shoulders is the intersection of this downward sloping channel here and this new one here. And it's divvied up into smaller and smaller channels. And then we even have these other couple little parallel lines that I drew in there. So I was getting real technical. But essentially here, really what you have, you can hide those trend lines for now. Really what you have is two larger channels here. And see how I just break them down into, I cut them in half and cut them in half. So from this initial channel and its cousin right next to it, we're right there, kind of attempting to fall out of it. We got saved by these parallel lines that are parallel to the most important channel in Bitcoin history, the white one. And these lines that I drew parallel to that channel are, you know what? On a 4 when I drew them on an hourly time frame, so they have more interaction. But you can see even on daily, this one that catches that wick, and this resistance here, and support there, and support there, and the one below it has this wick and this wick here as support. Kind of that one and that one as resistance. On an hourly or 4 hour time frame, you see more interaction with this channel. And actually, we did come through it a little bit here on the daily, so it is similar to these here. And then it held as support here. Now, what's interesting is I believe, although I could be wrong, these are the cousins of the most important channel in Bitcoin history. I'll see, I am wrong. But actually, what I think it looks like, this line right here is a center line of one of these other ones. We take this, I don't know if I want to do this. Yeah, because I don't know where these handles are. Let's delete that. I don't want to do this right now. But you can kind of tell that between this dash line right here, my cursor is on. Let me turn those off. This dash line that my cursor is on and this white line here, this looks about to be the center line of those. So this right here is holding the center line of this. So that's very, very good. And it looks like we're holding. I mean, we're barely hanging on to all these things, but that's good. A lot of times when we're barely hanging on and people think we're going to dump, that's when the explosion happens. You least expect it. Um, all right, so what else really is there to go over? You get the point. We're barely hanging on here. But, okay, so yeah, what happens if, so you know what happens if we pump. What if we dump? Well, if we dump, you do see, let's turn these guys off for uh, pink parallel channels. Let's turn those guys off for a second. You know what? Let's leave them on. Let's leave all the channels on because we're really going to need them. Turning those guys on. Where's our blue channel group? Turning those guys on. So if we aren't going to be able to hold this, I don't really see anything. I think we'll fall right through the mean band of the Gaussian channel. Unless there's some sort of horizontal support, like maybe right here. It does look like at about 65.2. Yeah, maybe we kind of hang out there for a little bit because we do got some support and resistance here at about 65, 65.2. But that's, do we got anything above it? No, it's a tough call. I don't really see a whole heck of a lot. Maybe these, yeah, I really don't see much here. Imagine we'd fall right through that, fall right through it, come crashing down, and this could save us. The bottom of the blue channel and the bottom of the daily Gaussian channel and the 21-week moving average could save us right here at about 62,000. Now, I don't believe we've come. Oh, we did. Let's go to see if we did come below the bottom of the blue channel. And yes, of course we have. So, nevertheless, this could save us this time around because you got a whole bunch of things there. You got the bottom, you got those three things I mentioned already here. So that could save us. And that would still be above these previous lows here. So that would be good. So if we do dump, don't get too freaked out because we could very well stop here and then just explode next week. It's very possible. But just what scares me is I just, I'm just very skeptical. I'm looking as to what could happen if people wanted to get really wanted to f with us. And what I see are these pink parallel channels I have here. Let's turn this guy off. We don't need the blue group right now, and we don't need these guys right now. So we got our pink parallel channels. Well, my software apparatus cut me off because I was rambling on for too long. So we do have this support here, and that might be our last hope And there was also resistance right here on this line, along this line. And that is just below there at 59. About on Monday, that'd be about 50, about 60. Yeah. So those things are all very, very close together. Um, so, but if we lose that, we could come down to here. This would be our next actual horizontal support here. And horizontal, and what is this? Diagonal support here, where this acted as resistance, and then we broke above it and held it as support. And those both meet up right here. And that's at about 52,000. What scares me though too is just, yeah, holding this is one thing, but how far could we wick below it? Could we even wick down as much as to the center line of the channel below that, which would be about 48,000, which would be very, very ironic because that's where I thought we would come down to after the halving event and before starting our bull rally. Because where is that? It's this high. And actually, what I just realized, whenever we start a bull rally after the halving event, so here's a halving event, and we come down here. Wait, what am I trying to say here? Where's the price at the halving? Let's go back to here's the halving event. Price at the halving was right there. What does that line up with in the previous high? It lines up right there. Stop that. It lines up right here with the first kind of like rally after the all-time high. That's where that lines up. Now, did it do the same thing here? It should be like, price at halving is lining up with this or this. Now, let's see where we start the bull. These prices here coincide with these previous peaks here, which is interesting. So which one? I don't know. But what's interesting, see, this is why it's, it could be either one or none of the above. Because if we did come down to like this pink line right here, that would be this right here. That's at 52,000. Could it be that horrible that we come down that far before blasting off? See, there's all these things that could happen, and it's not too far fetched. Of course, that is a big dump. Do you think anybody would let that happen? I don't know. What's the other one? The other one's right here, 60,000. Does that dumpy dump line run into something? Yeah, kind of. It's this lines up pretty well with that right there. You got two candles holding, running into that as resistance and all this support up here. So it's a tough call. Or really, have we already done that here? Have we already satisfied that right here? And satisfied the other thing here? And we're just going to. Really, we should hold this. I don't know why. I mean, with the data we had this week, I was expecting us to blast off already. It is really, really confusing me why we haven't blasted off yet. So, anyway, that is what I'm looking at, and that's why I haven't really made a video because you know what else we can look at? We can look at the oscillators. So you got the. I wonder if we should just go to a. I like Binance. Binance is higher. 67,128. Okay, now let's look at futures. So futures is trading 240 above spot, which is kind of what it has been. A few hours ago, it was a little bit lower than that, and I was kind of getting sketched on that. That is one thing I wanted to point out. Somebody who shall remain nameless was trying to point out uh, bearish divergence here on CME futures and trying to relate that to Bitcoin. The bearish, it's not the same. I don't know. And that same person has also said if you want to know what an asset's going to do, look at the asset, not something related to the asset. So I don't know why he's trying to bring up bearish divergence on CME futures. Not it wasn't even on the daily. It was like on the 2-day and the 3-day and the 5. I don't know, different days, time frames. I don't really even know. It's nonsense. So let's look at Bitcoin, actual Bitcoin, and well, now here, this is the 2-day. Now we're even, I want to look at the BBWP. We don't really need to look at anything else. BBWP is the Bollinger Band width percentile. And we're at extreme, it measures volatility. We're extremely low volatility on the 2-day. Where are we at on the 1-day? It'd be interesting to find out. Not that low, but we are coming off. Interestingly enough, coming off of a low, but 2-day, the 2-day and the 5-day is what I always look at, and I did get this from the same guy I was talking about just a minute ago from his channel. But these, I really, really like these setups here. So the 5-day, we've been at extremely low volatility since the end of April for several weeks now. So this warrants a huge explosion once we break out from here. But as I've said many times, once you get the confirmation of expansion from the 5-day here, when it gets up above 10%, and you get a confirmation of that, by that time the move's already been made. You've already missed out on it. So you got to anticipate this actually. And the 2 day does help with that. Now, also, we are on the extremely low volatility on the weekly. We should be. Let's see if it even extends to the 2 week yet. I don't know. Last time we had this, I think, was when we started this. No, not on 2 weeks, but so extremely low volatility across multiple high term time frames. Um, so that's good. Now, when you're looking at that, when we do expand, you typically move in the direction of, you know what's funny? Okay, yeah, so this is what Eric Crown also says, that you, upon expansion from low volatility, price action moves in the direction of the stochastic oscillator. But in actuality, the stochastic oscillator moves in relation to the, what did I say? Moves in relation to the price, is relative to the price action. So it helps that we're down here because we should be turning upwards pretty soon. So it makes sense upon expansion that this would flip around. But as we look at the 5 day, that might be a little bit more difficult because it's easy in hindsight to say, or even after you see expansion confirmed, to say, oh, this because this is moving in this direction. That's because price action already flipped around. It already reversed upon expansion. And then that's what this is saying. So they kind of move at the same time. It's hard to say that it's going to move in this direction because they're both moving at the same time in actuality. Now, when you look at the 5 day, I think we're up a little bit higher on the stochastic oscillator. Yes. Actually, we already started to turn upwards. So see, this wasn't pointed upwards earlier. It's because we're moving up now that this has moved upwards. This was pointed down last time I looked at it, and that was just earlier today. Yeah, so maybe with the new day, this is pointed upwards like that. I don't remember when I did look at this, if it was after 5 o'clock or not. 5 o'clock California time is the start of the new day in the world in London. Wow. So we should expand right now. That would be really, really good. And then what I did want to look at was the, I want to do this on the Binance chart only because that's where I drew it. And that is looking at the what do you call this thing? The RSI. And I've discussed many times before how people, we're on the 5 day. We don't want to be on that. We want to be on the daily. And how people typically use trend lines on the RSA, like this white one here that I've drawn, connecting that and that and that and that. And then when we fall through it, it's bad news. But actually, when we fall through, is we're really trading in a channel, just like we're trading in a channel in price action. But what I did not like to see was that I just added this lower channel. I had these two channels side by side, and that's where we had been hanging out here. And just coming here, I was expecting a bounce here, and that was this week. Yeah, that was with the CPI data. We were doing good on Monday. We should have bounced with the CPI data. And we did, Yeah, we did, and then we came back down or something like that. And I don't understand that. But regardless, here we are. Oh, and this is really, really nice. So I do like to see this. This wasn't here earlier. So we did come down to the bottom of this channel. All this wasn't here because I added this once we fell through on Tuesday. And this is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday now. Um, yeah, so look at that. We're bouncing off the bottom of that channel. So this is very, very good. I think it's very possible that this is the start of our move upwards. I'm glad I looked at this. I feel a lot better now. So I really don't think we're going to dump. If we dump, that would be horrible. I think we're going to hold this as support. We're about to see an explosive move upwards. But it could go either way. But look at that. The total 3 is up 1%, over 1% now. Oh, and look at the total 3 uh, RSI. Oh, look at it. Isn't that pretty? And actually, if I let's see if there's no, it's not meeting anything back there. Actually, and I wonder if I should do that. If I did, you can see that if I did make this a little bit smaller to touch that tip right there, it would in reality touch this tip here. And then that one would just stick out a little bit. And these would be right on the center line there. I want to do that. Maybe let's do that. We can make this a little bit smaller. I don't know if I want to do that. Let's give it a try. Yeah. We may move it back because I don't like that one's sticking out. Well, that's okay, I guess, if it sticks out. That one's touching and that one's touching. And these guys are touching. So that looks pretty effing good to me. And look, we can just come up here and Monday break through there. And bam. Let's go back to this guy. Oh, I don't have it on that guy. I have it on this guy down here. Here, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Monday we could be coming back up through the through here. And you know what? The fact that we came down here so far gives us plenty of room to run up. And when we do run up here, Gerber Baby says we need to break this. We need to get higher than 87.4. And we could do that as early as the 4th of July. As early as the 4th of July, we could be up above that. Interesting. So, I just like to put all these pieces together. Let's see what happens, man. Let's just see what happens. So far, it's looking good. It's not looking spectacular, but it's looking good. This is the daily with all those funny looking candles. There, doesn't that look better? Huh. All right. Now, okay, before we go, let's look at stock market. Let's give this a second to reset. There we go. A little green, a little red. A little green, a little red. Not much. The Dow has had a harder time than these other two. But so that's that. And not that it really matters, but let's look at the DXY. I think James showed a chart earlier today that was showing Bitcoin correlation to the Dixie since the beginning of this year. And half the time it was correlated, half the time it wasn't. So half the time they went in opposite directions, and the other half of the time they went the same direction. So it's just all kind of it all depends. Now the Dixie's moving up, but so are we. Typically, this would be, well, especially in the past, in the bear market, definitely when this moved up, typically Bitcoin moved down. But it's not always the case. It's really so it's like he said, half the time it does, half the time it doesn't. Um, so that's that, and maybe we're gonna see a rejection here on Dixie pretty soon. Maybe it comes up to I don't know, maybe about where it's at and gets rejected. I hope. We want it to go down. Oh, it is hitting these right here. So yeah, maybe. Who knows? All right. Well, we better go there and see what happens. All right. Well, like, subscribe, and we will see you next time.